Hello motorbike fans, this is Martin and I got some motorbike stuff for you. Look what we've got here. The R1250GS Adventure trim it is. I got this bike as a loaner because my bike is in service, and I'm going to take the opportunity to do the shortest GS Adventure review on YouTube. So let's see what we've got here. This is the exclusive version. There's lots of grey on it, and then on top there's this kind of funny sort of color that I would like to call swampy green, or maybe cafe latte with rotten leaves or something. That's not really sounding too charming, I will admit to that, but it's really not that bad. See, it's green with a shade of gold in it, so could have been a lot worse. The engine block together with the drivetrain is all black. Rims are black. Spoke wheels. Right here you can see the drive shaft also in black. And then the frame is fairly pretty sort of grey. Looking at the cockpit, the view is very much like this. It's really massive in front. That's because of the 30-liter tank that you have. So as you can see, the sides of the fairing here are just as wide as the cylinders, and in case of a BMW Boxer that is really very wide. Now I'll go around it once more. Left side, you see there is scaffolding on the front, crash bars. That's to my best knowledge standard on an Adventure. And on the rear you can see the luggage rack. That is, I think, really a disadvantage of this system. You see it often on the Adventure version of the GS. If you do not put your cases on, you get just this framework, and it becomes very visible, and it really doesn't make the bike look pretty. And as you can see, there's also a bar that connects the left and the right end, and that becomes very visible. So those alu panniers, they look really cool and all ready to go to Cape Town, but the minute you take them off, your bike really drops quite a few positions for looks. That's too bad. Front is very recognizable, very much like your ordinary GS. It's just that the beak comes with some extra trim. Makes it all look a bit butch if you ask me. The windshield also slightly different, it's a bit wider, and other than that very much the same. Once again you see the black front of the engine, exhaust pipe in silver. So apart from the bulky tank and the slightly different paneling in front, the rest of it is very much just an ordinary GS. But the difference is very visible indeed. It is really big and bulky in front. TFT is standard on the current models. And that all looks familiar. Unfortunately, this one is very reflective, so you see me holding a phone. A bit closer you can see it. Well, that's exactly the same as you've seen before. Nothing fancy there. Instruments, same story, all the same. And there's Martin with our blue helmet. Okay, well, that's it for looks. Let's hit the road.
Well, motorbike fans, I really did hit the road, but in an effort to make sure this is going to be the shortest 1250 GSA review on YouTube, my camera decided not to record the next bit. So I present to you a summary of the cockpit comments of that ride, mixed with footage of my earlier 1250 GS non-adventure test ride. It was pretty much the same road anyway.
Well, here we are on the road. The first thing I noticed is that there is actually absolutely no difference to my own GS. And that's probably down to the fact that the engine on this one, because it's a 1250 with a ShiftCam, is a bit talkier than the one on my GS. And yet the Adventure also weighs a bit more. So it probably sort of evens out each other. So you get the same kind of acceleration and feeling as on an old 1200 GS without the Adventure spec. I have to give it though, that feels good. One difference you do notice is that this one has the new generation brakes. No longer Brembos, although this one still has a Brembo at the back. But the front end has the BMW label, which in fact means it's Hayes, I think, an American brand. Brakes are pretty good. They're a bit bitier than the ones on the old 1200. So that is a difference that you will notice. So far the verdict is it is exactly the same as my old 1200 GS with no Adventure spec. And even though that sounds a bit dull, it's pretty impressive, bearing in mind that this one is heavier than a standard 1200 GS and a lot bigger, and yet the ride is all the same. So I think the next bit we would be interested in is what does it do on the motorway. Now let's give that a try. Well, here we are in the noisy wind. I'll dive a bit under the screen and hopefully you can hear me better. Supposedly this bigger tank and everything that's around it gives me a bit more weather protection. That's very comfortable. However, currently I do not notice a big difference between my own GS and this one. Maybe in very cold weather it does make a difference, but right now it's not really that noticeable. Other than that, stability pretty good. But then again, at this pathetic 100 km/h that we are allowed to drive on the motorways these days, stability shouldn't really be a problem, should it? With the seating position straight up, you can easily hit Switzerland today, or Austria. Okay, so much for motorway. As a test, I would say pass, but then again, what else would you expect? Also a nice test, these long bends that you have to take from one motorway to another. Well, as you could expect, like on rails, the 1250GS Adventure knows how to do it. So, conclusions. An R1250GS Adventure, it's exactly the same as my 1200 GS no Adventure. It's bigger, it's heavier, more fuel capacity, but other than that it's just as quick, it's just as nimble, so it's a lot of extra without a lot of disadvantage, really. So that's not to say I'm sold on this one, but I certainly do not have anything against it. Should it be needed for whatever reason to switch to an Adventure rather than an ordinary GS, it will absolutely do and make me happy. So that's it for now. I'm off to fill up this baby and return it to the dealership. So thanks for watching and may the road rise to meet you. Goodbye.